drew an imaginary line around it, I'd get more of a sort of rectangle. I would get a rectangle on its side as opposed to, one that's upright that you would consider being a portrait shape. And so what I'd like you to do is to draw on your practice piece of paper 3 rectangles. You don't need a ruler, but if you feel you need a ruler, then by all means use one. Mine are 2.5 inches high and 3.5 inches or 3 3/4 inches wide. So that's 2.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches. And if you haven't got a ruler, just draw 3 rectangles freehand that are approximately that size. I mean, you can see the size of my board, my paper. This is an A3 piece of white paper. So this is a viewfinder. It's basically a piece of card that I've actually cut a hole out of. And the quickest, easiest way to make a viewfinder with an A4 piece of paper is like this. So I'm going to zoom out a wee bit. Hold on. Okay. So ignoring that, I'll turn my board over. Here's my A4 piece of paper. Basically, what you want to do is to join up if we make it a bit less than A4, it'll be easier. I'm going to take about 2 inches off it. Right, so I've got a piece of paper here that's 8.5 inches by 7.5 inches, all right? Now, the next thing you do is to get your ruler and join up the diagonals. So from one corner to the other corner, just join up the diagonals. Okay. Okay. Now, the hole I've got on this little viewfinder is 2 inches by 3 inches, or 2 inches by actually 2 3/4 inches. So if I make this here along the bottom, between the gap, between the lines, 2 inches, that one, and then turn it round and join it up to the next line. It's 2 1/4 this way, and then turn it round again, do the repeat, and then do it again, join those sides up. Now, you need a little pair of scissors or a knife, whatever you may have handy, and then I want you to cut that rectangle out, which will create a little hole. With my knife, it's easy because I can just cut along the line. Okay, so that's done. There we go. I mean, in a sense, it probably is, well, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. This one is more of a rectangle, and this is more of a square. It doesn't really matter. Basically, you're creating something that you can view your subject through, okay? You're going to hold it up vertically, and if you bring it towards your face, you'll see more of it, and if you go close to it, you'll see less of it, less of the subject. These are what I call thumbnail studies, okay? I'm going a bit closer. And they were done for a drawing class which we had online some time ago. I mean, I think it was last January, February, I can't remember exactly which. So the subject was metallic objects, kitchen utensils, okay? And with my viewfinder, I selected different compositions from the pot of kitchen utensils. So, you know, each of these little studies, these compositional thumbnail studies, is a different composition. And in the end, I decided I'd go with this little one here, and I blew it up by eye using this as my guide into a drawing like this. Okay, sorry. So from this little thumbnail study, I have the little thumbnail study by me. You know, it gave me, I divided it in half both ways, the thumbnail study, and then I looked at the shapes and where they came on the edge of the viewfinder in relationship to this, and transferred it over into a bigger drawing on the other, this bigger drawing on the other side here. Okay. So I had a group, a metal pot with kitchen utensils standing in it. I held my little viewfinder up in front of this pot of utensils, and I moved it around until I got through the hole a composition that I liked, and I sketched it out very quickly into each, and I did one for each of these little rectangles. And then the second part of the exercise was to select one and draw it up. Now, it probably, you're not going to get all of this done in one session. You may have to finish it next week, or we may have to revisit it next week. I don't know. Let's hope our vegetables last long enough, or whether we all work very quickly. So what I want you to do, I'm going to put this to one side, and I will go slowly through it so I don't leave anybody behind. So we've got our 3 rectangles on here. I'm going to give you approximately, I'll be generous, 8 minutes per drawing, per sketch, 8 minutes, no more. And I'm going to time you. And I want you to hold your viewfinder up in front of your vegetables that you've set up. I would suggest bringing the viewfinder fairly near to your face, and so you can get most of the fruits or vegetables in that hole. And then, having looked at it, I want you start with one. Like I think it's probably quite helpful to divide this in half. I'm going to just do it, you know, by eye. I'm not going to even measure it. So no, that's not even straight. Sorry. This way here. Okay. So I've drawn that. I've just divided up that little rectangle in half, and then I will start to create a little sketch of my vegetables. Like the first compositional study, I can see that the broccoli is in the first segment, and it comes up sort of about like here. The stalk is coming down here. And then the pumpkin, this yellow orangey pumpkin I've got, comes sort of, oh, it's actually bigger than that. It sort of comes over here. So this is going to come round like this. So this is the broccoli. Filling up here. And this is the pumpkin. I can't see the bottom of it, but I can see this sort of shape here. Okay, so that's the pumpkin. And then I've got the orange pumpkin filling the space in the back here. And the brownie one, which goes over here. He's sort of coming round like this. Okay, so that is my first little composition. Can you see it? Yes. Obviously, the top of that pumpkin is going outside the rectangle. And then I might, just to finish up with in the last few minutes, just put in a bit of, I haven't started, shouldn't have started yet. I might put in a bit of dark behind here to indicate that the background is dark. So, you know, that's just my first little sketch. Now, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to use this composition, or whether I want to create something that's a little bit better than this or different, you know. So that those shapes are set off like that. Okay. I actually think that my rectangle is a bit smaller than I've got it, so I'm going to take that off there. So could you make a start with yours, please? 4 very different compositions. So you have to move the viewfinder either closer to your face or closer into the vegetables themselves. I think when you do one close into your face, you get the whole thing. But then you've got to consider where those shapes touch the hole and transfer it down onto here. If you want to turn things or take a different viewpoint, that's fine as well.